What's her name?
Janice.
That old hag. And
so now the only person who hasn't had a letter from home is Austin. Let's just make that clear.
Now, you know what? Not only that, we got the Armacost day. Remember when he said when his brother?
Oh gosh.
No, when his brother died, he said that's one letter from home I'll never receive.
That was sad.
That was sad.
Yeah.
And also, it was
great strategy.
TV gold.
Yeah. So Jenna said to James, "You can have to deal with the fact that you motherfucked your friends. It's plain and simple to the public." True.
And what did James say?
Well,
sorry you feel like that.
Yeah, I know in my heart what I've done is right. Shut up.
Yeah, what you got? Been drinking Kool-Aid or something? Fucking Davro juice.
That is the next thing.
Oh, hang on. Is Kool-Aid in BBUK?
What do you mean?
I keep thinking it's in BBUK.
But Austin said, "You've drank the Kool-Aid and you've been brainwashed by Janice." And then Austin said, "Don't get in the middle of this, Bobby," because Bobby was piping up.
So, this Kool-Aid thing, is this the new crap miss?
Yeah, basically.
Right, okay.
Except it's more lethal. And then...
because it makes you only stuck up to Janice.
Yeah, Janice. And then James said to Austin, "Let's go outside and talk about this man-to-man." And
but he said, don't even say...
Yeah, don't even start with that shit. But James never said sorry. At no point did I see James say sorry for nominating his best friend in the house.
Yeah, but he did give him like a kind of a spoon, and he said he felt guilty. So if that's not an admission of almost being sorry, then I don't know what is.
Well, that's not a sorry as far as I'm concerned. So, and then... James said, "I'm not bothered. I've had enough of you both." And he said, "The way you've treated me again."
Now, you know when he said, "I'm not bothered"?
Yeah.
I remember Siavash saying this.
Yeah.
Anyone that says, "It's all good, I'm not bothered," or "couldn't give a shit" is the third option there.
Yeah.
They give more shits than Fat Man Scoop has done in his whole life, ever.
That's true. So then James runs away again like the little bitch that he is. And Jenna says, "Crack on with your daft arse loser self." Well...
Now, do you think there's a better insult there?
Yeah, there is.
I would say, like, crack on with your daft, loser self, stupid game planning, cunt-faced, weaselly, brown-shoed idiot life or something.
Brown-shoed. So then...
Go back to getting booted off The Apprentice.
So this is the moment when Austin went to get into bed with James... Natasha said, if he starts something, I'm going to kick off.
Who's she? White Deep? What? If he says something, I'm going to tell him this, I'm going to tell him that.
So, let me break it down to you like this. Here's what Austin said.
Right.
To Janice, seemingly out of nowhere.
Right.
"You're the worst excuse for a woman ever.
Okay.
You're an embarrassment for a mother.
Yeah.
You should be ashamed.
Yeah.
That's right. I didn't think you had anything to say, you stupid cunt.
Uh-huh.
You run around with your tits out, spreading your legs." Does she? "Miserable excuse for a woman, hopping from one reality show to reality show.
Right.
To get a paycheck. Why don't you learn a trade, get an education, you stupid fucking bitch."
And you missed out.
Yeah, I probably did.
He said, "Getting out your old..." Now, he didn't finish the sentence. I assume it was something so offensive, even he realised he shouldn't have said it. I assume...
What could be more offensive than that?
I assume it's getting out your old mingle fanny or what have you. But anyway, but this thing about going from reality show to reality show mixing, is this a new thing?
That's what Austin does as well. And James.
He's only on one show, which we've watched, A-list, what was it, A-list?
New York.
Yeah.
Now he's on A-list Huddersfield.
Yeah, A-list Yorkshire. Anyway, so... yeah.
Where did that come from that he's just started on Janice like that?
I think he just can't fucking stand her, and she's quite patronising to him.
Excuse me.
And also, wasn't it in the wake of her throwing that... Remember when she's throwing the answers to the competition to the British people?
No, it has nothing to do with that. It's because James nominated Austin over Janice. Austin is angry with James, but he's taking it out on Janice, in my opinion.
Right.
James had already walked out the room by this point, so he didn't hear what Austin said. But when Natasha ran straight out there to the doors going, "Oh, he's calling Janice a bad mother and a cunt, the lot." That is vile.
We know about the lot.
Yeah.
But
James said...
But here's the thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Armacost Day, so named after Armacost Day, is he called a 98-year-old. He called a very old lady a cunt twice to her face. Now, most people would go on the back of that, don't you think? If you call Sherry Hewson a selfish old cunt, how do you think that's going to go down?
Not well.
No.
Yesterday, he did it in the diary room. He called her a selfish cunt. And then he called her a stupid cunt to her face. That is bold. But do you know what? Me and you, although we were open-mouthed when he said it, we did both laugh. You got to admit.
Yeah, it was good TV.
It was funny.
And she is a cunt.
And also, she didn't care. She didn't give two fucks. So everyone going, oh, poor Janice, blah, 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 blah. Janice didn't actually give two shits.
But, hang on a minute. You know, with Americans, they always say, I don't even know whether it's true or not, but they always say, when you go to America, if you call someone a cunt, it's a lot worse than it is in this country. Like, here we say it like, you know... It's
in my country, it's a compliment to call you a cunt.
It virtually is. And also, can you think... I struggle with this all the time. Can you think of anyone that you know, either on the TV or in real life, that isn't a cunt? I can't think of anyone.
No.
It's like a term of endearment over here.
So James said, you're letting yourself down, mate. You should be embarrassed with how you're acting. You've got a nice family back home watching you. Whatever. Yeah. I watched the daytime version to see exactly what they could show of what Austin said.
How long was that? 3 minutes?
Exactly. It was quite funny because you only saw him saying you're embarrassment of a mother to Janice, and then you just saw Natasha shouting at him going, stop shouting, whatever she said, and it looked like Natasha was in the wrong. I thought, that's good. That daytime edit is good for Austin.
If we're lucky, all the 3 to 9 demographic that watch it during the daytime, because they're not allowed to watch the evening version, they'll just see Natasha Hamilton being a cunt and the vote will go away.
Natasha went, you don't have to shout! But when she said that, Austin wasn't actually shouting.
Now, what's more grating on the ears? Is it her screaming, you don't have to shout, looking like a harpy? Or is it her singing, you'll never walk alone? It's a close call.
Yeah, it's a close call. So then,
I'd say you never walk alone. She really did screech that. She really did murder that song.
That was more painful on the old ears.
It's a bad song, but she really like. What's the opposite of auto tune? Fuck you, tune.
Auto screech.
Yeah.
So then Natasha said, "Why are you calling her a poor excuse for a mother and a cunt?" Austin said, "I'm good. If someone's being a cunt, I've got no problem saying it." I like that. That's refreshing. That's playing on with honesty, in my opinion.
Who would not like that? And you know, there's people on the other channel watching Strictly. Are they hearing someone get called a cunt? They probably are, but it's just by that old Len fella or Tony Odi or whatever, and they're just saying they can't dance. That's nothing.
Now, I will call Austin out on a couple of things. I don't know why he was calling Janice a bad mother, and I don't know why he said that, but I'm assuming there's some background behind it, but whatever. I don't agree with that.
Do you think the 4 jumpers belong to the children and they're cold?
Maybe.
Right.
He said something about...
What about Rocky Balboa?
He said something about custody, but it was kind of cut off. But anyway, that's none of my business. But Austin also said to Natasha... You're a mother, Natasha. Don't bring yourself down to that level. Austin, it's not like when you're a mother, you suddenly have to start behaving a certain way. So come on, put yourself on there. I do think that was a bit stupid. So,
yeah, he was...
He was out of order. Don't get me wrong. He was bang out of order, but it was entertaining. So, you know, take your pick.
But if someone, like, say, if... you're Austin and your showmance, which is James, basically not dumps you but treats you like shit.
Exactly.
You're going to be upset if you start like throwing shade.
Showing
trade.
Yeah.
If you start throwing shade at everyone in the house, apart from the person you're actually angry with, it doesn't look like that good on you, does it?
It doesn't, but that is exactly why he was doing it. He was upset and he was angry. James is his only friend. His only support network. Imagine all those nights we've watched on the live feed with them, like whispering under the covers, making food together, like hanging out. And it's like me nominating you. That's what it's like. It's no wonder he was fucking angry. And anyone who can't see that is a downright dimwit.
But what if you nominate me?
Yeah.
Remember when...
Oh, do you a favour?
No. Remember when Dan had to put Memphis on the block? Well, it's a strategic move. That's different.
Well, if you're going to get 50 grand out of it, it's not so bad.
But he's not doing that. And who called it? It was either Sherry or Jenna. They said that James wants Austin out before the final.
Yeah, for strategy. Yeah, we're getting to that.
I think that's true.
So then Natasha said, let's see how many votes you get after saying that. Well, Natasha, the answer was enough to keep him to the final. And Bobby said, you're burying yourself, Austin.
Why was he... Now,
what?
We tried to say it in the intro, but we couldn't do it. But Peter Piper why does he always want to pipe up?
What, Bobby?
Yeah, he's always in the middle of everything, but never like leading
planning.
Anything. But he's doing it badly. I think he's crap.
So then James pipes up again, and Austin said, James, fuck you. You're a little bitch with no balls. That's my favourite insult of the season.
And you know what?
It's true.
It is, because we've seen him in his pants loads of times, and it don't look like there's a lot going on down there.
And James said, fair enough, good luck, Austin. So
fair enough, I've got small balls.
Yeah, I am a little bitch.
And I'm a bitch.
Yeah, fair enough. And then Bobby...
It's like when Farrah and Jenna admitted to being alive, but witches.
And then Bobby said to Big Brother, do yourself a favour and evict this man right now. Fuck you, Bobby. And then Jenna said, just let Austin...
It's not showbiz, like, fuck off, Bobby.
And then Jenna said, just let Austin get his bearings. Yeah, let Austin get his bearings, stop calling everyone a cunt, and just go to the diary room and chill out a bit.
Sorry, who said that?
Jenna was the only person sticking up for him.
But Jenna was so, apparently, according to the odds, so unpopular. Like, if it been voted to sack off, she would have, like, smashed it.
Yeah.
But she was aligned with Austin and stuck up for him.
Yeah. And
yet he's really popular and she isn't. That's the one thing I can't work out.
Well, let me break it down for you like this.
Please.
She's a woman. She's a porn star.
Oh,
therefore, people want to get her out. They want to slut. I've seen her called a slut so many times tonight on my timeline. It's absolutely disgusting. Anyone calling Jenna a slut, get the fuck off my timeline. Go fuck yourself.
If you could, like, show your entire internet history for your entire life and say you've never watched a porno, I'd be like, okay, fine. But apart from that, no.
Yeah, exactly. So then Austin went to the diary room, and this is where mine and yours opinions diverge.
What?
Now, the big brother who spoke to him, don't you think he was like the nicest big brother ever? He was just like, Big Brother just wanted to give you time to collect yourself.
Well, you thought he was going to get a warning for calling an old dear a cunt twice.
I can't believe he didn't get a warning for that. He was well out of order.
But there's nothing wrong with calling someone a cunt.
That's offensive language, though. You're not supposed to use offensive language.
No, offensive language is like racial or like hate language or stuff like that. But cunt, that's like, you know...
It's nothing. Yeah, everyone I said this already on our last podcast. Everyone go, oh, the C word, the C word. Oh,
is she upset by it?
Who, Janice?
No, fucking Chloe Cuntman.
Is she upset by it?
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh, Jesus.
She's upset by Chloe Cuntman. So then, didn't you think that Big Brother had like the most soothing voice ever? He was just like, oh, he was so nice. And then...
you think that was Gareth, or...?
I'm not sure. And then Austin goes... Janice needs to be tied to a post and lashed for the things she's done. Do you think that helped the situation, or...?
Well, we thought...
Yeah.
Really, it was he'd thrown it all away at that point, but it wasn't to be.
Everyone did. But
everyone must hate Janice a lot.
Here's what Austin said in the diary that you didn't really approve of.
Right.
He said, I try and do nothing but be honest and truthful with everyone in this house. I had to bury my brother and send my mum to prison. I don't know about the story behind that.
Yeah, well, that sounds a bit fishy.
I had to come back to Huddersfield and see the amazing family my husband has. I'm fucking angry and sad and hurt. My family is crumbling and I'm in fucking pain.
Right.
You said this is a pity party.
No, it's not so much that it's a pity party, but first of all, he's come in the DR, he's crying about one thing, which is being nominated by... What?
Yeah, but sometimes when you're crying about one thing, you start crying about other things, don't you?
Yeah, but first, I know his brother's dead, yeah? We all know that. Fucking 100...
Shut up.
It's true, though.
Shut up.
I didn't know that he sent his mum to jail.
True.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And that when he sees his boyfriend's family...
Yeah.
Like... He feels jealous? Or
yeah, that's a really honest thing to say. I feel like that about people with happy families.
I know exactly what you mean as well. But it's like suddenly he's dropped on extra storylines on top of the original one.
It's just strategy, babe. That's good gameplay.
But does that strategy work on Big Brother Britain?
Well, is Austin sitting in the house, probably in a man tub as we speak?
You think they're... in there now, giving each other face